Welcome back to the channel. I'm genuinely glad you're here because the Samsung story we're talking about today is messy, exciting, a little frustrating, and surprisingly promising. So get comfortable because this one has twists. Let's start on a positive note. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is getting Samsung's new M14 OLED panel. I know sometimes tech names feel like alphabet soup, but this is a real upgrade that can actually be seen and felt when using the phone. The biggest one here is something fans have been asking for again and again because it was long overdue. Samsung is finally adding 10-bit color to the S26 Ultra. The current S25 Ultra and even the Z Fold 7 are still stuck with 8-bit displays. In simple terms, 8-bit gives you access to around 16 million colors. Sounds like a lot until you hear what 10-bit offers. A display capable of showing over 1 billion colors. Yes, with AB that is not a tiny improvement. That is a jump you can notice the moment you see it in the right content. Now, let me be honest so your expectations stay realistic. If you scroll Instagram or check your messages, you will not suddenly fall into a magical rainbow wonderland. Most everyday apps use 8-bit content anyway. But the moment you open HD or movies, high-quality streaming content, or look at 10-bit photos, that is when the magic hits. Gradients look smooth, no more weird color steps in the sky, shadows look richer instead of crushed, and the colors feel natural and true rather than artificially pumped. It feels like you are finally seeing the creator's original intention. The S26 Ultra display is also shaping up well because of the other improvements coming with that panel. Better brightness, more efficient power use, a slimmer co-layer, and a privacy filter that helps reduce unwanted side viewing. Put all of that together, and this might be one of the most enjoyable screens Samsung has put on a phone in years. Now take a breath because the rest of the lineup story is where things turn into a roller coaster. Samsung seemed to be throwing ideas at a wall to see which one sticks. First, they removed the S26 Plus completely. Then they announced a new S26 Edge model to replace it. Then they renamed the base version to the S26 Pro. Everyone looked around confused. Reviewers didn't get it, fans didn't get it, and even people who never follow tech news were like, what is happening? And then, after all that noise, the Edge idea was scrapped. Why? Because the S25 Edge didn't sell the way Samsung hoped. The Plus model suddenly returned like it never left, and the Pro name disappeared. So after weeks of changes and confusion, Samsung ended up with the same naming system they started with. Galaxy S26, S26 Plus, and S26 Ultra. Honestly, that is the right call. Calling something Pro when there is no standard model next to it to compare with makes no sense. And the base S26 does not feel ready yet to wear the Pro badge. Because of these last-minute adjustments, some reports began claiming that Samsung may delay the launch event. Normally, the Unpacked event happens in January. A Greek outlet called Techmaniacs claims the event might be pushed to March. A 2-month delay sounds extreme. A short delay of a couple of weeks could happen, sure, but stretching it to March feels unlikely right now. Their claim was that the S26 Ultra is finished and ready, but the S26 and S26 Plus are still being worked on. Techmaniacs has had some hits in the past, but their recent leak history has been shaky, so take that rumor with caution. Now here is the part that grabbed my attention the most. Someone reportedly gained access to S26 firmware information and discovered that Samsung has been testing to different camera setups for the S26 and S26 Plus. One setup uses the same cameras as last year. The second setup brings a change that many users have been waiting on. It includes a new 50-megapixel main camera, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide similar to the one from the S25 Ultra, and a new 12-megapixel 3x telephoto lens, while keeping the same front camera. If Samsung chooses the improved setup, that would finally refresh the camera experience on the non-Ultra models. It would not be revolutionary, but it would be a meaningful improvement. If they choose to stay with the old camera hardware again, the question becomes, What are we getting this year that truly matters? A slightly larger battery on the base model will not be enough to convince people to upgrade. Look at the competition. Apple gave the base iPhone 17 the same main cameras as the Pro models. If Samsung does not want to go to that level, fine, but at least offer a strong upgrade that gives buyers value. People are upgrading more slowly now. Phone prices have climbed and customers want a reason they can feel, not just a new wallpaper or color. So that is where things stand. Samsung is being judged online for features that are not even confirmed. Fans are confused, expectations are mixed, and the S26 series feels like it is still shaping its identity. But there is a twist. The S26 Ultra might actually turn out better than the early rumors suggested. And I have more updates on the Ultra that could completely shift how you see this device. I will cover those in the next video because the details deserve their own moment. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. You made it to the end and I appreciate you for that. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want the inside story on the S26 Ultra features Samsung is quietly working on, come join me in the next video. I have a feeling you will not want to miss it.